Alright, so next up on the front clip here is the back of the fender. You can see where this fender support rusted off of the actual fender here. So I'm going to rebuild this whole corner coming up and then reattach this so it gets some strength back. I do pretty much what I did up there and just rebuild behind it so it looks kind of cool and give it some strength back. And with the passenger side over here, this side's a little worse. You can see it used to come down all the way down here. So I'm gonna have to remake this whole edge over here and come down here. But there's a dent right here right now that I want to straighten out before I do anything so I know the perfect shape it needs to be. And then of course I'll have to probably rebuild a good bit of this support here, because that's supposed to go all the way out to here to meet up with that. So I have some interesting stuff to do, and there's more rust you can see down here. This is like the rock panel, whatever you want to call it, the chip panel in the front coming off the front radiator support area. It's got some rust. I don't know if I'm going to do anything with this yet. Should probably strengthen all this back up because that's where the bolts used to be to hold the fender to the grill support. And obviously headlight buckets are shot, but I don't know if I'm doing anything with those yet. I do know this is the hood. I have it on to keep the front end in one piece and strong. I have to rebuild this whole piece right here that used to come up and go across to strengthen the hood. So I do need to rebuild that whole piece. That should be pretty easy, just a little bit time consuming. Nothing else really on the hood unless I want to reinforce some of those tack welds I put in there. But not too bad. Over here, this headlight bucket's not too bad. You can see that right there. You can see light coming through that same spot as on the passenger side. It's just all starting to get scaly. I'll probably take the whiz wheel with a wire brush or something on it to this flaky rust here, and then rust trap this whole thing, because I don't want it to keep going. Like, this isn't too bad, and this is still the original undercoating, but just like this scale stuff down here and all up in there, kind of want to clean that out. Alright, this one up top is out. See that? Nice and straight. Now, this one will be fun. There's a kink here because this whole area is crushed in. So I'll have to go ahead and pull this all out and try to get this kink to straighten out. Alright, so most of that dent is out. Most of that up there. There's still a little bit left, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait till I mount this whole thing back on the van so this whole piece isn't wobbling around so much, and then I'll finish making this perfectly straight. I'm not going to weld this until it's on the van down here. This is perfectly straight up here, so I can go ahead and fix this or do my janky rat rod fix, whatever I'm doing, probably like up there. But that's roughed out, so that can be finished when it's on the truck and not moving everywhere. So that side is all set to jump on. This side, there's no dents down on that end, so I can jump on that, and then I can jump on this up here, and I can work on the hood whenever I want to. can see this here, I marked this out, and then I sliced this where the curvature needs to be. This Sharpie mark here is going to line up right here with the edge of this curve where it starts. And the Sharpie mark here is going to line up with the edge of this curve here. Now obviously I can slice it further and get this curve as perfect as I want it to come down here. But once I get this perfectly exactly where I want it, then I'll go back with a hammer and dolly and a piece of round rod and hammer this around to help recreate this folded edge right here. And I'll probably cut this right off, because this is where a piece of this curved edge right here from down, right about there. So I'll cut this off and weld it to the back of this piece here once this is welded in. And just like the top over there, I will drill holes and plug weld it along the inside here while this is in the back, and then tack weld along this jagged edge. I will rough this up and hit this with etch primer first, just like I did up there, and on the back I will rough it up and hit it with paint and primer just to make it not rust. So that is the plan. It'll look like this, but on the back side that line will line up there, this line will line up down here, and then I will roll this edge that's on this side of the Sharpie line right there. Hopefully I can get it to look pretty good. We'll see. Alright, so the patch is pretty much where it should be. I got most of the curvature in here, go this way and that way to match with this. I need to do a little bit of trimming back here so that it fits properly and flush, so that the space isn't here. You can see it pretty much matches up. It's not perfect, but it's not going to be perfect. That's not the aim of the game for this truck. But it pretty much lines up almost perfectly. Like I'll take this and I'll pull it out farther, I'll trim so that fits better, and then this will come out a little bit more to snug up right with the edge of this. But she's pretty darn close. I put some relief cuts in this edge as well, and then I gave it a slight curvature to match this here, a slight bend. And now get a pair of vice grips in there and that'll close right up nice and tight. We get that curve back. We'll get this curve back, that'll close up nice and tight. And she'll look like one solid panel again. I mean, I will have to weld up all these relief cuts, but that's peanuts. And like I said before, just drill here, 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 and then one over here for plug welds, and then tack weld all along here. And then she'll pretty much look like the top of this guy over here. just like that upper section up top, up there. Going for structure and a bit of rattiness. I like it. You can see it comes down properly like it should right there. And it meets up properly right there. And this back bracket here now has meat to weld to, whereas before it rusted off. So what I'll have to do is probably cut this nut right here, cut it off. That's part of the old fender right there. I'll have to make a new piece to go from this mount to under here where it's supposed to go, right in there. And of course I'll treat all this back steel like I did before, paint it or rust trap it or something, but that'll bring a bit of the structure back to the front of this. Then I have to make this patch here and the front patch, and that's it for the driver's side. And I'll move on to the passenger side. But I think she looks good for now. What I'm gonna do here is I need to make a template to build out this area like I did back there and like I did on the top. So what I do is I take a piece of cardboard and then I put it behind. There's some stuff in the way. I put it behind, and then I trace out my basic shape that I want. But the thing is, this has a curve here that comes down and around, and a curve that goes this way, and then a curve that goes this way. So I got a bunch of curves to deal with. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna break this piece off right here because it's in my way. Toss that up there. So then, what I'm gonna do is, you can see how this fits this somewhat well back here, and trace out the shape I want. So it starts way down here, and then I want a straight line, and then back here I want it to start coming up. That's not a straight line. Come on, there's a straight line. So I want this nice and flat. Trace this down here, and then curve away. So there's my basic shape right there. So I'm just gonna, how much did I have back there? Not all that much, because that will be right there like that. That will be like that. I got enough to do some plug welds along the top here. So then I had the shape close enough. I'll straighten that out. So check that again. And then what I'll do to get this curve here, if you can see this, I'll just go like this and give myself 3/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch on the other side. Just some extra meat. I can always trim off anything else I don't want to use. Go down like this, down like that, down like this, and like that. And then come up like this right here. So what this will be is, I will cut out along this line right here. This will be the edge of the panel that actually comes down right here and up and around to there. This will be the part, the meat right here, it will be the part for this bend. Okay, so I'll cut this out, and then I'll use this as the template for the steel. And then there'll be like a plug weld here, plug weld here, plug weld here, plug weld here, and then I'll just spot weld along this edge here. So that's my patch. I'm gonna cut it out. So then now we're gonna do that, the same thing to this side. You do see I have a little hole up here. Right up here, I have a little hole. So I don't know if I'm probably just gonna weld that up. But let's make a pattern for this guy down here. So this one is a lot bigger. starts all the way over here and it comes up and around over here. So I had to get a really big piece of cardboard. But we're going to do the same thing as before and just make the shape out of cardboard, then cut it out. As you can see, it's supposed to be way down here with the roll, and then come along and then just go up like that. So let's get that all cut out. You can see here I got the template cut out. I'm going to line up this inner line, the outer edge right here. It's going to be right up in there, because I need to go and then line up this side with this line over here. So that's right there. And that'll let us cover up this hole. It'll give us a nice flat shape down the bottom. And then that's the rounded part that I need to make curve in to match with this. So that's all 3 templates made. Let's get to cut some steel. Got a bunch of interesting angles to it. It's been fun. Pretty cool. Well, as you saw, I got my patches made up. That's the passenger side front, driver side front, passenger side rear. And I got them primed up, ready to go, and I'm going to weld them onto the nose of the van. So I got those patches plug welded in and then little tack welds along it. And I ground the welds pretty flat. Like I said, it's like gonna be like this one over here. I like how that looks. Kind of ratty, but you're not gonna get cut on it. That's gonna rust up just like that right there. As you can see, it's nice and flat along the bottom, and it follows the curvature up into the wheel arch. Then we go on to the passenger side. Same thing over here. Nice and flat, goes up into the wheel arch, and it's ground down. And the big one over here, same thing, follows the arch down, nice and flat, all the way around. That's the biggest patch on this thing that I did. I like it. We'll let it rust up and see how it looks later. But I'm pretty sure for now, other than drilling mounting holes along there, which is this edge here that mounts to the actual van itself, I'm pretty much done on this nose, other than making new braces down there when I put it on, and obviously the directionals. I might do some work in those rust holes there, but I can do that later once the truck is, or the van is built. Like, you got a little bit in the eyebrow there and a little down here, and that's not rust. I really haven't decided yet, but you can see it's starting to pull right here, the grill from the fender. And I never want to take this apart, because once this comes apart, this whole eyebrow will have to be replaced. The mounting surface will have to be replaced. So what I might just do is I might just clean up this in here and do a stitch, like every inch or so. Stitch, 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 and weld it together. I mean, eventually, if I want to take this grill, who knows, 15 years, 10 years down the road, if I want to take the grill and the fenders and get rid of the fenders and put the grill on the wall or something, I can just run a Sawzall or a cutoff wheel straight down here and cut all those welds. But I don't think I'm going to. I kind of want to make this one piece, because it already is, practically. Because if I take it apart, it's never going to go back together the same way. So I'm thinking I'll just tack it along the top of both eyebrows there, because you can see that the rust is starting to come already, which just means it's going to get weaker and weaker and weaker. So, yeah, there's that thought. Obviously, I need to do a little bit of work on the hood, like there's little perforations here and here. And then over here, I do have to make the hood, there's a support piece that goes across like that. I will have to fix that, because it's pretty much on it came detached from the hood practically. So I have to fix that on the inside. You're not going to see too much on the outside. I haven't decided if I'll do a patch here or if I'll just do it on the inside. But that's pretty much it for the nose. I mean, I like how it looks right now. And it's solid once again. And you're not going to get cut anywhere on it, down below, or anything like that.